Can't believe we're actually doing this 2 weeks in a row.
I know. I'm shocked.
Hold on a second here. 2 weeks in a row. I don't know when the last time I spoke to you 2 weeks in a row was. What? Years ago? No, not years ago.
Like holidays, I think.
See, yeah, long time. Anyway, we're back at it. Ryan Payne, John Nelson, north south. You get me? Yeah. We're going to try this every single time and just continue not to make it. There we go. We got it. Beautiful.
Yep.
How's the week been?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Busy?
Well, I mean, it was Easter, and so that meant
Right.
that the boss really likes holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And so what that means.
And don't you?
Well, I do. I mean, she's completely, totally gung-ho about them.
Okay.
I mean, she puts Easter baskets together.
Okay.
She put Easter baskets together for our niece who came down for lunch because we all made our way to the mother-in-law's.
Yeah.
Me, the mother-in-law. Her hometown, about 4 hours from here. And so last week after we did the show, I packed up the studio and went south for U.S. Open Cup, and then I went further south, and we were all down there for the weekend to catch up with her mom. So Easter basket for the niece coming for Sunday lunch, Easter basket for her mom, Easter basket for me, Easter basket for herself. And so what that means traditionally is I get more Reese's candy in the form of the Reese's egg. And so literally that was my entire Easter basket. It's like Reese's this, Reese's that,
Wow.
Reese's peanut butter cup, the whole smear. So yeah, that was what it was for me. Plus a Waffle House gift certificate, which you can never go wrong with a Waffle House gift certificate south of the continental border here in the United States. So think
funny,
of it like
funny story about the Waffle House thing. Years ago, when I was in school, we took a trip down to, and then we'll get into sports. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
I took a trip down to New Orleans. And we drove on a bus. So like 30 of us packed in this bus. We went nonstop.
Oof.
And the places we stopped at to eat, the Waffle Houses along the way.
That's the way
I'll never, ever forget the Waffle House and never forget how it made you feel after as well. But that's a topic for another day.
You've got to be hungry and you've got to be ready to enjoy it. And it's scattered, smothered, covered, chunked, and topped. And that's your Google search for today, kids. What do you want to talk about?
Your favorite pitch clock discussion in Major League Baseball. So, and I wanted to bring this up this time, and don't look so unenthused. I wanted to bring it up because this is actually kind of a fun play on the whole thing. So, in case you're not paying attention, first week and a half of the season, almost 2 weeks, I guess maybe first week and a half of the season, we've done that.
Yeah.
Average time of a baseball game is down 31 minutes. And it's on track to be the lowest in baseball since 1984. So the game is moving faster. So you go as a fan, you want to see the game and all that stuff. You also want to take in the concessions. You want to, say 2 hours, 45 minutes. You want to get in as much as you can in the 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Okay.
So right now, some teams, namely Arizona, Texas, Minnesota, and Milwaukee, they've extended the sale of alcohol through the 8th inning. So past the 7th inning.
A whole 6 extra minutes. Oh, no.
Hold on. You look, people can do damage in 6 minutes, okay? People can do damage.
I know.
Miami and New York, the Mets, they still stop after the 7th, but they haven't ruled out changes. So Baltimore, they've already sold alcohol through the 8th inning or until 3.5 hours after the first pitch, whichever comes first. So what it is, it's about alcohol sales, John. Yes. So they're feeling like they're getting cheated by the game moving faster, but now they're adapting and extending the sale up to what you said, 6 minutes. Look, innings go longer than 6. So let's just say an inning. They're extending it through another inning to make money and make the fans happy. Your thoughts?
Well, they need to, because you got to make the fans happy somehow, and you got to figure out how to recoup your investment because you don't have that extra half hour now anymore. No, I get it completely. You've got to sit there and figure out, okay, we're losing revenue opportunities because we're not open as long. Maybe you open it up even earlier. You open it up when the park opens and go from there as your zero, as opposed to, waiting for a while. But no, I completely get it. And it's all about adaptation and improvisation when it comes to trying to figure out, okay, we're losing this window. How do we expand it to continue to work our revenue losses? But no, obviously you've got to have alcohol available. or at least concessions available in general to make sure
Right.
that you try to recoup the time lost from not having folks standing in line.
You see, baseball is turning into a fans game even more. It's turning into a fans game. And they're trying to draw the fans and try to keep the fans engaged, John, for as long as they possibly can.
I scoff openly at that concept. So,
Yeah.
yes, please continue.
I will tell you this, though. One of the more, not confusing, I don't think confusing is the right word, but one of the things I've tried to wrap my head around when it comes to Major League Baseball for a long time, not the fact that spring training is held in Florida. It makes sense because it's warm and all that type of stuff.
Arizona, yeah.
But the fact is, Arizona too, but the fact is that Tampa Bay, the Rays are down in Tampa in Florida.
Check.
And they continue to be, for the most part, in the last number of years in the American League East, a very good baseball team. They continue to have one of, if not the lowest payrolls in all of Major League Baseball.
Understood.
And they continue to have, if not the lowest attendance at home. This team now, they're 11-0, 11 straight to begin the year. We'll go through some of the stats in a second. Do you think they're going to draw? Do you think by the end of the season, regardless of what happens, they're still going to be at or near the bottom of? No, you think it's going to be more?
Oh, no, I think that they're going to continue to be toward the bottom of attendance during the regular season. I think that let's say if they make the postseason, I think this is when you will get your. Let's say Tampa Bay plays, Cleveland.
Sure.
In the first round of the playoffs. Let's just to go outside of division.
Mm-hmm.
You will get Cleveland fans flying down like we had with the Yankee fans in series past.
Mm-hmm.
You will have the out-of-town fans flocking because tickets will be available because of Tampa Bay fans not being in large enough numbers. And I think that what this should signal to Major League Baseball, I know you don't want to give up another top 10 market when it comes to eyes, but the landscape when it comes to watching baseball is changing, and I think that what you need to do is put Tampa Bay in a location where they will fill up seats, where they will have all of the amenities that they need to be available to them and be a successful franchise. I have maintained that they need to go back to Montreal and have Montreal baseball in whatever form it is.
Preach.
If Tampa Bay fans or Tampa Bay baseball interest is not there, go to a place where you will be interesting and interested. Oakland, we know what the plan is in Oakland. They're going to go to Las Vegas and allegedly have interest there because they're being courted. That is a financial decision because the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, I don't care who the sponsor is, they're not paying us here on the show, and I don't remember who it is. Anyway, you're getting about 7 people watching games outside of the teams that are there with their rosters. Oakland moving, I get it. It makes sense. There is no interest. For Tampa Bay, it should be the same, even though you are getting more fans there than you are in Oakland. There is no long-term interest. So the visiting fans will find it to be interesting, much like the snowbird schedule in hockey. When you have interest early on out west, that's why when Calgary plays at Mullet Arena, that's why when Calgary plays in LA and Anaheim, you're going to get that influx of fans. Go to a place where you're wanted, desired, and needed. Tampa Bay is not that place.
No, it's not. And well said. It's kind of like, I think maybe we talked about this last week with the Coyotes still in Arizona. I mean, it's just Gary Bettman is a stickler for that. He's going to maintain that's where he wants to keep the team for as long as they possibly can. They play at ASU, Mullet Arena, as you mentioned, all that stuff. Let me just tell you the attendance figures since 2018, Tampa Bay. So the average attendance in 2022, and last season they were pretty good, just under 14,000 at home. Okay. In 21, I know there was COVID stuff and all that type of 9,513. The year before, 2019, so 2020 wiped out. 2019, just over 14 and a half. In 2018, just about 14.25. Let me tell you this. This team's 11-0. They've had 3 games on the road. 8 of those 11 games have been at home. Right now, they're 27th in league attendance, despite being the best team in baseball. And they have drawn 133,792 fans for an average of 16,724. To me, that's a disgrace.
It is. You are getting,
but nothing's going to be done about it. Baseball's not leaving Tampa. Tampa is not. No.
You don't want to lose that media market. even though the experience for watching baseball is different and far different than it has been in the past, and especially with the blowing up of the regional sports networks contract with Diamond Sports declaring bankruptcy,
right,
and everything going back in-house for Major League Baseball, Major League Baseball can now dictate over time, once the bankruptcy is settled, Major League Baseball will be able to dictate how they want to have their product viewed. So in-house attendance does not matter to the bottom line of Major League Baseball, because if all they have is streaming and ways to watch it through mobile devices, computers, and things like that, they're controlling how it's being watched.
Yeah.
Outside of the revenue in a game day and in a game state is almost secondary to the streaming experience and the access that you can grant to folks from outside of the market. So just because you're getting 11,000, great. Okay, that means we got 11,000 more that are there for that home experience instead of watching it on a streaming device.
Yeah, I'm with you. For those that are keeping track and those that maybe want to keep track about the best opening winning streaks, longest ones to begin a season, the record held by two teams, Atlanta in 82, Milwaukee in 87, 13 straight to begin. Atlanta lost the NLCS back in 82, and Milwaukee, despite starting 13-0, they missed the postseason. And right now, Tampa's tied with Oakland, the 1981 Oakland Athletics. The Brooklyn Dodgers, 10 straight, 1955. They won the World Series, 1955. So 11 and counting. Anyway.
Well, they ain't in Brooklyn anymore, so ain't nobody watching them except in Los Angeles.
That's true. A lot of people watched the Masters on the weekend and last week.
Check.
And it wasn't a Monday finish, even though a lot of people thought it would be. The rain,
29 holes, man.
Right? It was hard. It was tough. These guys were grinding it out. It's one thing to do 18 in a day. It's another thing to finish up around the morning of and then get to the next round that 2, 3, 4, 5 hours after. Anyway, Jon Rahm won the thing. To me, he's the best golfer in the world. I know Scottie Scheffler is ranked number 1, but to me, Jon Rahm is the best in the world. And he said a quote about a few weeks back when he was asked, and I forget the winners, the event that he won, but basically they said to him before the next event, they said, "Can anyone beat you when you are playing to the best of your ability?" He said, no one can beat me at all. And I love the confidence. Anyway, the whole point of this is Tiger Woods. Plantar fasciitis, the back, the leg, everything. He looked, John, he looked absolutely awful. Yeah. He really did. It's really, and I think we've talked about this over the last years since he had that, horrific accident. The fact that he's still alive is a miracle. We've said it's really tough to see him kind of going out like this. And I know that his goal, I think, is to play with Charlie, his son, at some point. That would be great for him. And then he would call it quits. He's not winning majors. He's not going to beat the record set by Jack. It is not happening. It's hard to see. It's hard to see because he looks like he's a walking, wounded human being. His leg and body is held together by screws and digits and whatever else you want to put in there. But seeing his body language, even on the first day, on Thursday, seeing his body language in round 1, he just looks defeated. He really does. And even though I've never met him, you've never met him, to a man, despite what people may think of him, this is killing him. It's killing him to not be competitive. I'm not going to say a weekly basis because he doesn't play every week, say on a monthly basis now. So it was just tough to see him walking off the way he did.
And conditions, and we know folks who are arthritic, for lack of a better way to kind of get into this. You know how weather affects them.
Yep.
And for a course like Augusta National, if you are not, peak physical condition, and that means that you can handle the ups and downs and everything that's associated with that course, where traditionally the way that let me see if I can get the quote correct about Bobby Jones and course designing. And I will say this: I have played East Lake, and Bobby Jones is one of those guys that will want to, when it comes to designing a course, he wants to welcome you onto the course. But basically, and I'm paraphrasing, what you want to do is you want to welcome someone onto the course, but by the time they're done, you're like, I want out of here.
Yeah.
Basically, that, and that's what he wanted to do when it came to designing a course. And you see at a place like Augusta National, and it starts off with a par 4. The first hole, if you hit it right, then you have the tree that guards the green. If you hit it in the middle of the fairway on the left-hand side, you've got access. 2 is where as long as you hit the ball straight, and I know for a lot of us that's kind of difficult, but as long as you can hit the ball straight and navigate what the course gives you, by the time you get to the up and the down and the up and the down. To give you an idea about Eastlake, where they have the tournament, the FedEx Championship, FedEx Cup, by the time you get to parts of what is now the front 9, it is literally you're walking uphill, you're walking downhill, you're walking uphill, you're walking downhill, and you're like, dude, get me the blank out of here, because you want to. I mean, because you are just trying to figure out how to navigate a course physically, and then still mentally figure out how to navigate the course. And it's 2 separate things, much like what he did with Clifford Roberts at Augusta National. It's like, okay, all right, we're going to give you points where you can sit there and try to navigate what's going on. And this is in perfect weather for someone who is fighting things physically to have to do what's being challenged with you physically and what's going on emotionally and what's going on mentally. It is a painful watch. And with the weather being what it was, when the weather's coming and how it affects your joints and being held together the way that you are. It was a painful watch, figuratively and literally, but that he wants to compete and compete as much as he does. And it's profoundly disappointing that he can't complete a tournament that he loves so much.
And lefty Mickelson, there he is, getting into second place, the live golf guy. There was an interesting moment, and I didn't see this and hear about it till after the event. But it was in round 1. There was an incident involving Brooks Koepka's caddy, and it was not found to be a rules breach. Don't know if you heard about this, but So you go back and you watch. It was on holes 15 and 16, and it looked like Koepka's caddy Ricky Elliott appeared to say 5 to caddy Brennan Little, who is Gary Woodland's caddy, and that was after Koepka's second shot. So it looked like he was saying Brooks hit a 5 iron and Woodland had not hit yet. So according to the rules, John, 10.2 small a in the rules of golf, it states during a round, a player must not give advice to anybody in the competition who was playing on the course. So in that moment, the caddy is the extension of the player, right? Meaning Elliott would have breached the rules. Okay. It was not looked into, but I think there is something to that. What do you think?
I mean,
do you care?
But what I'm saying is, if there is in a tournament like the Masters where you are chasing after a major, it can be taken one of 2 ways. Either that Augusta National views it as just conversation, and it was not something that it was tied to the rules of the game, and it's just okay, yeah, they're just talking, or when you're talking about Gary Woodland and Brooks Koepka, Gary Woodland is about 9 clubs ahead of the rest of us.
Yes,
when it comes to what he can do with a golf ball, and I mean even on the PGA Tour, he is 3 clubs ahead of guys at times, because Gary Woodland is one of the longest hitters out there. So even if a caddy for another golfer is sitting there and saying one thing, that's not going to directly apply to Gary Woodland. And so you have to think of math and things like that. Okay, how does that compute and all these kinds of things? I think that in a moment like that, the tournament is going to sit there and say it didn't directly affect anything, so we're not necessarily concerned about it, because what you don't want is for players who are chasing after a major championship to have been bogged down by an alleged rules infraction.
Right, and think about this too. Say you and I are golfing, which one day I hope that we do at some point.
No doubt, yeah.
So say you and I are golfing, and we off the tee par 4, let's just say for the sake of argument that we actually know what we're doing every shot. We hit a 250 right down the middle. And you and I are separated by maybe 10 feet from left to right. So not ahead, we hit the exact same distance. I would just have to look over to you. Say you were away. I'd have to look over and see the club that you would take out. I would have a good idea based on the angle. I wouldn't have to see the number, right? So I'm just thinking, if that instant happened again, if there was proximity where Koepka and the caddy and Woodland and his caddy could have maybe figured, okay, he did hit a 5. I think these guys are smart enough to know that. So my point is, do we have to make anything of this? No, we don't. I don't think there was anything illegal done and a rules breach. I don't think so.
No, I think you're good there. I think that in today's day and age, you don't want to have any kind of thing to happen where you could sit there and look back at round 1 and go, well, if it hadn't have been for that rules infraction back on day 1 in round 1, he wouldn't, he might be chasing after a green jacket. You want to pull that kind of that thought pattern out of a major.
Want to get into hockey. So hockey's almost done. The Friday 2 games, Thursday 15, and then the playoffs begin on Monday. We'll know everything by the time Friday's done. We may even know a lot of what's going to happen by the time Thursday night is done. But I want to go back to one of the recent games for the Toronto Maple Leafs and the moment involving them and the Montreal Canadiens. It was 7-1.
Okay.
And there was about 70 seconds left to go. People have probably seen this and heard about it, but if you haven't, here we go. There's a guy who plays goal for the University of Toronto, and his name is Jet Alexander. By the way, a great name, 2 T's on Jet Alexander.
Okay.
And so because Matt Murray's been hurt and there's some other issues as well involving the cap and all that type of stuff, they needed to call him up on an emergency basis to back up Ilya Samsonov. It was 7-1. Montreal was horrible. They're terrible. Toronto was blowing them away, all that type of stuff. Terrible, horrible.
Incredible.
And Samsonov comes off the ice, and all of a sudden, Jet Alexander puts on the helmet, University of Toronto helmet, and steps onto the ice, and he played the final 70 seconds. Now, this happened before. Matt Berlin, I believe, for Edmonton earlier on in the 2023 calendar year, he was called in, and he was interrupted from, I think, studying for an exam at the University of Alberta.
Nice.
And he had to go in, and he played about 2 and change for Edmonton during one game. Anyway, Chris Weidman, after this game, again, it was 7-1 for Toronto, 70 seconds to go. Chris Weidman was asked about what he thought about putting in Alexander, to which he responded, I'll paraphrase in just this one part. He said, Toronto will get what's coming to them in a few weeks. So he had, John, a major issue with this. Your thoughts, and then I'll follow.
Weidman needs to calm down and focus on what happened in the previous 57 minutes of that game instead of what happened in the final 70 seconds. Focus on yourself. Don't worry about giving an e-bug a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about giving a goalie a moment that he will never forget, wearing his Varsity Blues goalie mask and representing, by the way, one of the best nicknames ever.
Yeah.
The Varsity Blues mask, and giving him a moment that he will never forget. I think that if you wanted to possibly avoid having a moment that he would never forget, if you were Jet Alexander, then what Weidman needs to focus on is, playing a more competitive game.
Yes.
In this one.
And you said,
thinking out loud.
Yeah, and you said focus in on the 57 and change before that. What about the, 79 games before that the Canadians? This is my thing. I'm with you. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Martin St. Louis, the coach of Montreal, if everything was reversed, and I said this earlier on, I'll plug my podcast, Pucks and Seven with Victoria Matiash. We talked about this.
I've heard of the both of you, yes.
Oh, thank you.
Uh-huh.
So say this was reversed. Say Montreal was in the exact position Toronto is in now, and Toronto is in the exact position Montreal is, meaning the standings, playoffs, the record, that 7-1 game, all that type of stuff. Are you telling me that Martin St. Louis and the rest of that coaching staff and whoever else would not, if they had an emergency backup from, say, University of Laval or Montreal, whatever, you tell me that they wouldn't do the same thing if it happened to the whistle went with some seconds left? Absolutely they would. And I guarantee you this, I don't think anybody in Toronto or anybody on any other team that happens to should say anything about that, because if that was to happen to them, they would do the exact same thing. And if they didn't, shame on them.
It's a 20-point difference, I want to say, going into the match for the Montreal Canadiens and the 8th spot. 20 points.
20 from Montreal to 8. Oh, yeah. Okay. Right.
20 from Montreal to 8.
Okay.
20 from Montreal to 8. They are next to last in the East.
Horrible.
As you and I, horrible. They are next to last in the East.
Mm-hmm.
If you're that wound up about an E-Bug getting local minutes and you're 20 points out from 8th, you got a different set of things going on between the ears that you need to focus on here. I mean, let's just think about this here for a second. All right, so Toronto, through their first 81 games, 49, 21, and 11, 109 points.
Yeah.
Montreal, they are not in 4th. You have to go a while. You've got to go down to a position commonly referred to as 15th.
Right. So
31,
that's south.
43, yes, that is south. That's on my part.
Right.
31, 43, and 6. You are 23 points as we are talking out of 8th place.
Mm-hmm.
You are, having me do math, you are 41 points separated from your opponent that we are discussing. So safe to say high 30s at the time of the action.
Mm-hmm.
You were 35 to 40 points behind your opponent at the time that this was happening. Focus on yourself. Get what you want to know. You want to get what's coming to you. It might be extra laps after practice, extra back and forths, perhaps more shooting drills.
I think it's too late for that, though.
Just in general. I mean,
no, I know.
In general,
focus.
I mean, why deny someone? It is so much easier these days to crap on someone else instead of build up the situation.
Yeah.
It is so much easier these days to do that. If I was Weidman, I would have sat there and said, man, that's fantastic for him. It's a moment he'll never forget. That's what I would have said 3-minute warning. I know we operate under CFL rules.
Mm-hmm.
For him to say they'll get what's coming to them, yeah, they got what's coming to them. It's called 3 points. Something that apparently is in short supply in Quebec province, especially where Montreal is concerned this year. Right. Focus on physician, heal thyself.
NBA play-in the last 3, a little bit less. NBA play-in. So how it works has already begun. 7 to 10 each conference, 8 teams total. They compete for the final 2 playoff spots, composed 3 games each conference. 7-8 plays each other. The winner clinches the 7th. The loser then faces the winner of the game between the 9th and 10th. The winner of that game clinching the 8th. All that stuff. Then the playoffs proceed as normal. This was introduced, I believe it was 2019-2020, to, quote, increase excitement and competitiveness. Where do you stand on the play-in?
Don't care.
Why?
Too many things to think about.
What's there to think about? It's 2 more teams getting a chance to get in.
I know, and that's what sports like to do because you have television partners that want to have content, and you treat it like TV episodes, much like Major League Soccer. I get this. I understand what you're doing, but you're having me think too much. Give me 1 through 8. Look, I'm an old fuddy-duddy. I admit it.
I am too. I'm with you.
I mean, I get it, but you're having me think about it too much. And unless a 10 makes a run and knocks off the number 1, woo, big deal. Big whoop.
What this does is it can, toward the end of the season, if you're just on the bubble and you want to taste the postseason, then this does increase competitiveness. What if you put this format and give me a yes or no? I'm just throwing it out there. It's not going to happen. But what if you did? Throw it into the NHL and have a play-in for an extra spot or an extra 1 spot in the West, 1 spot in the East, whatever.
I'm sure the TV partners wouldn't complain.
Exactly.
Once again, you're adding more TV revenue. You're adding more TV inventory to a revenue problem. So I don't think they would complain one bit.
Yeah. NBA play-in. Anyway, final thoughts. Anything last minute you want to get to?
Yeah, as we're talking, today is a very important anniversary. 43 years ago, Terry Fox set out on his iconic Marathon of Hope.
Beautiful.
And it is one of the things that I down here, full disclosure, I contribute to the foundation. I have the gear to prove it. 43rd anniversary of those first steps working from east to west across Canada.
I have a pair of Adidas shoes, and on the laces, they have some Terry Fox in them. So I'm with you. One of the legends and his legendary Adidas. Yeah, there you go. Okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful moment. What a incredible human being. Never, and good for you to be part of that, and everyone else involved as well. Okay, out of time. Guess what? I think we're going to be back at it next week. It'll be 3 in a row. Only time will tell. For John, I'm Ryan. Talk next week.